it's so easy in our modern time for women to get lost on their male side and for men to go too far to their female side. And we need to learn how our relationship and communication skills can bring a man back to his male side and help a woman come back more to her female side. And it's a woman revealing something that's important to her and asking for it that causes a man to provide for her and then bond with her and want to do more. So, when these things are not instinctive, it can be a little confusing. So I want to tell them a little story of asking and getting. Because you're asking a man to propose to you. You're not proposing to him. You're asking him to propose to you.
Right.
And this is very meaningful to me that you provide a special evening sometime and surprise me with a ring. That would be really nice. And that's after he says, I don't know, and gives you all the reasons. And you basically go, that's true. That's true. That's true. And I'm a woman. And all these needs inside it, these feelings. And I know myself. I know that if we're married, I feel like I just won the lottery. And if I'm not married, a part of me feels like, well, I guess I didn't win the lottery. And a man wants to help you feel that. And so there needs to be some, if it goes on for a few years or a few months, it should be, a few months you want to, and he still hasn't done anything, then there needs to be tears. Okay. There needs to be, I know you love me. I loved you, but I need to feel that I have that security, and I want other people to know that we're married. I want to feel the dignity. I want to feel like I'm not just, some person being used, and I know I'm not, but what other people think? People think, they go, why are you with him? He didn't want to marry you. So, and then he might say something like, well, why do we care what other people think? Okay. And you say, that's true. And there's a part of me that does care. So I get it. That's true. So you keep coming back to that's true. And you have another perspective and revealing, I have insecurities. And, that's why I like romance. It reminds me that I'm special and I'm important. Otherwise, I feel like I don't exist. I need that. And you're not coming from, I need that. I have to have that. I'm so unhappy with that. But that's something that I need. Okay, now having said all of this, I give a little example when I first realized this power that women have. Okay, so there I was, and it was many examples I could come up with, but here I am providing for my family. I've got two stepchildren, two little girls, and now my wife has a baby. This is my marriage with Bonnie, and I'm working really, really hard, and 8 hours a day, plus the drive, counseling 8 women a day. It was a big job. And I'm really exhausted and tired. I just want to come home, watch TV, go into my cave and whatever. And my wife is accepting this until we learned how to start creating special times for us. But we figured all this out. It's in all my books. But the point I'm making here is she'd say to me, John, on your way home from work, would you pick up some milk or milk for cereal for the kids in the morning? I said, sure, why not? And as I'm going home, my mind is still focused in the workplace. That last client or the client before, what went wrong? How do I fix this? They're having that problem. My mind is very busy solving problems. Milk is a very low priority. So I forget. And then I forget again. And then I forget again. So I've forgotten 3 times. And my wife is sort of not making a big deal out of it. She says, oh, will you do it tomorrow? Will you do it tomorrow? And so there I'm after the 3rd day, she said nothing. And I was watching TV and I was tired. And I was walking to the bedroom. And I remember her just following me. And she says, oh, John, would this be a good time for you to go to the store and get milk? And she was really very, very clever. I have to say, a very neutral tone. Would this be a good time? And I went, it was obvious I was going to bed. I went, honey, I am so tired. I just need to go to sleep. She says, okay. And she followed me in, and I was sitting down in the bed to take off my socks, and she says, it would just be so nice if you went to the store and got the milk. And went, oh, honey, you know how hard I'm working right now. I'm just exhausted. I'll do it tomorrow. That's the first moment where she could have said, you said this 3 times before. 2 times.
Right.
Could have done it. She didn't. See, that would come across as disapproval. I'm bad. She's good. You always want to do your best to pump a man up. And she said, I'm so tired. I'll get it tomorrow. And she says, that would be good. But it'd be so nice if we had it for the breakfast and you did it in the morning, you did it right now. And I gave it, I'm tired. I don't know. I just rather go to sleep. And she just listened, didn't make me wrong or anything. She says, I know you're so tired. You work so hard. Pause. And I'm thinking, good. I'm getting away with it. Good. I don't have to do it. See, you're just giving him space to allow those feelings to come up. Remember, men are lazy. And I don't mean in all senses. Give me a project. I'm a super hardworking guy, but if I don't have to do it, that's the male thing. If I don't have to make the commitment, that makes everybody happy. That makes everything easier. But if it's worth it, I'll do it. So this is what's called a man's grumbles. I was grumbling. And you have to be aware that men grumble, and it doesn't mean the same thing as when a woman grumbles. So let me explain this more. So she said, it would just be so nice. I'd love to be, you could have cereal in the morning for the kids. And I don't want to do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I promise I'll do it tomorrow. And she says, that would be really good. And it would be so nice. See, this is called the art of assertiveness. Is repeat. You don't have to give more arguments. You don't have to tell them, well, you haven't done it before. You should do it. Or you have responsibilities as a husband. You're the father. You told me you would do it. Those are all reasons that weaken your position, and they only are negativity. You just have a nice position, which is what you like and what you'd want after hearing his point of view. Because when you do this 2 or 3 times, it would just be so nice. I don't know. It's okay. So this is me. This is the untrained me. I'm not that way anymore because I've been trained, but this was, and I was a good guy then. I'm a good guy now, but I react, okay, I'll just do it now. And my first reaction, nothing satisfies you. I didn't say that out loud, but I'll just do it now. I don't want to, it's like barking. Now, when I'm barking, when a man barks, you use the metaphor of a dog barking. Now, I've got a big dog, and barks, and tail is wagging. Dog's tail is wagging. The bark is not dangerous. If a woman barks, there's no tail wagging.
Right?
See, if a woman barks, if she grumble, I'm all right, I'll do this, but I shouldn't. She'll never forget it. This is bad news. She's going to hold it against you. You'll be punished for that. I mean, so when a man grumbles, it's kind of like it's an immature way of saying, this better be worth it. Say, all right, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. That's it. See, it's a primitive part of it, not even words, but the words it's saying is, well, this better be worth it. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it, but it better be worth it. So what do you mean? What it better be worth it? He doesn't know what it means. It just has a grumble, but that's what it's saying. It better be worth it. And what is the reward that he's looking for? He doesn't even know, but it better be worth it. And what's worth it is that you're happy to see him when he comes home with the milk. Mm-hmm. That's the reward. He doesn't know it at the time. Everything, like a woman can be upset and talks for a while and she doesn't know it, that she also has a lot of positive feelings. He's got to grumble a bit, but take action. And when he takes action, he goes to the store. So I remember going down I don't want to do this, marriage, responsibility, I'm a young guy, right? So, and I'm in my car, make a loud noise. Better be worth it. This is not easy for me. I'd rather be in bed. If I'm doing this is immaturity. I get it, but it's all, I'm trying to give you understanding of a man's grumbles. And so as soon as I'm going down the hill in my car, I'm driving my car. Now, driving my car is a goal. I'm achieving my goal. I'm getting the milk. Whenever a man is achieving a goal, and where he's got a destination, he's along doing that. He's on his way to do that. Testosterone goes up and his stress levels go down. The grumbles are gone. They're gone permanently. Not a big deal. He gets the milk, and to make a fun story, it's really true. I arrived at the store. I say to the guy at the counter, I'm getting some milk from my wife. No reaction at all. I walked up to another woman and said, where's the milk? I'm getting some milk from my wife. She goes, really? In the middle of the night? You can just see the tone of her voice. What an amazing man. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting some get the milk, get the milk down. I feel like I've achieved some great goal. I'm getting in the car. And now I'm racing back to show her I got the milk. Complete transformation, okay? It's like eager to please. He's the guy that knelt before you and said, will you marry me? I want to please you. But I had to go through the grumbles first, just like many women will come to my therapy sessions and talk about their feelings and come back to why they're married and their love in their heart and so forth. By talking produces estrogen. For a man, doing the deed, anticipating a reward. Okay, I have to anticipate the reward, builds up testosterone, and I feel good. So now I'm driving back. I got home. I said, hey, I got the milk. And she gave me a big, thank you so much. I know that's a big deal for you getting up in the night. And that was it. It had to be a huge deal. But it was, she gave me a big hug. And inside, your mind might have been thinking, he made such a big deal out of this. All he did is go to the store. I asked him 3 times. But wait till I tell my girlfriends, well, we'll have a good laugh. But she didn't say that. She truly went, thank you so much, and gave me a hug. And so I remember it forever. And the story even goes on further, is that when I was getting up in the morning, she'd already been up with the kids. And right when I walked into the breakfast room, right at that moment, the kids are pouring milk under this, and they're getting the milk for their cereal. And they go, yay, we have milk. And Bonnie said, yes, your father got up in the middle of the night to get that milk to make sure. See what a sweet thing that was. It's a feather in my cap that I did that. And as a woman, it's a feather in her cap that she's a partner who will respond and do that. Now, she could have said, yeah, I'd asked your father 3 times. Finally, he did it. Yeah, right. You're wanting to train a man that you have the ability to appreciate his efforts he puts forth. He's not always perfect, so you have a neutral attitude to the imperfections and a positive attitude towards the good things that he does. And a lot of women will think, well, he doesn't do that many good things. That's because you're not asking him. You're doing whatever you're doing more for a man that he's doing for you. Because you say, oh, he's not giving back. Stop giving with a neutral tone. Start giving more to yourself so you're happy, so you're not depending on him to change before you can feel good. And then ask for more in small increments, getting men to do things. We've all had, maybe like resistance to going to the gym or something, but once you get into it, you enjoy it. You like it. You get out there. It's like sometimes I don't want to go out. I got a dog. I got to. So I take her out. And now I'm out there, I'm enjoying the morning. It's all great. So we all have resistance. Just think about a man, and proposing is a lot of resistance to it. So you got to wear it down. You got to give a lot of support. You got to let him know that, marriage is so important to you. And are you thinking about getting married? I would love to get married. And I know this isn't as romantic as we all want it to be, but we're older, we're wiser, and we understand the obstacles in our world today. You have to realize historically, marriage was something that a man could not have sex until he promised to marry. That was it. The old wisdom was, the culture said, women, you can't have sex with men. Men, you can't have sex with a woman unless you marry them. Well, as soon as, we have birth control and free sex, all of this motivation to be married becomes less and less. So what controls it now is how happy you will be. I'll be so happy. I still fantasize. I still have a little girl inside and fantasize with wearing beautiful white silk dress and having our friends around us as we make our pledges to each other. It's my fantasy. I want that as well. Okay, I hear you. He might say, or he might give you the reasons. Always let it be. That's true. That's true. I get it. I hear you. And I have my side of this. Then as the months pass and he hasn't done anything, then you have to be honest to yourself. These are not manipulations. This is communicating your truth. If we get this far and he hasn't responded, then you have to lean into it with a very strong message, which is, honey, I just find myself closing down. I want to open up, and I trust you're the one for me and everything, and I don't want to pressure you to get married. I want it to come from you, but at the same time, I want you to know that my ability to enjoy our relationship is becoming more difficult for me. And it will help me so much to keep my heart open and to grow in love with you. And that's the phrase. It will help me to keep my heart open and growing in love, because I love you so much. But this is something that's so dear to me and important to me. It will make me so much happier and more relaxed to know that. And he might say, but why? Why does it matter? And I say, well, what I've read about women as well is that estrogen is the hormone that makes us feel happy, and estrogen is produced when you feel safe. And the testosterone is the hormone that makes men feel really alive, and it goes right up if they're somehow in danger. Okay, so it's like you drive fast, you get more testosterone. That could be one of the things that produces it. But for women, safety is so important, and having that commitment and having it be known to others is such an important thing to me. And that's why I mentioned it before. And if the kids and everybody's upset about this, one of the ways to handle that is we can have a prenup. And the prenup, some women I talked to a lot of women about these things over the years, and some women are looking for a man for financial security. They want that if he passes on, she wants to make sure that the life they built together, that she has some financial security. And of course, his children are all wanting the same thing, and everybody's wanting the same thing. and so a prenup in that situation is very helpful for the children, but it can also be based upon assets and resources that exist here, and what we create together as our life. That's separate. That's one way of looking at it. Another one is making the division right there, which is I can provide this part, which can be for us. But there needs to be some allocation of my life before my children are going to feel entitled to. It just makes things easier. But there's something for her. Now, in some cases, I counseled women who they're not really looking for that financial security. They've been professionals. They have a job. They have some resources. They own a house or whatever it might be. And they are very fine with saying prenup for both of us for what has happened before, and we create a life here together. And you can always take resources from what you have in the past to help build what you have in your life together, and nobody can know about that. So your kids don't have to know about that, but you certainly can't, give your house to your new partner if your children are expecting that house, which is one of our best, and for many people, one of your best investments ever is the home. Somebody told me a long time ago, John, whatever messes you make, it's all the house, because the house stays there, the property's there. Nobody can take that away from you. But don't take my financial advice. That's not my gift, but my relationship advice certainly is helpful.
Yeah, but it's a really good point, because both men and women, especially as they're a little older and may have been in or out of marriage or marriages and may have had the financial impact of that influence them, that is a factor that's going to be in the mind of a man and oftentimes even a woman. I mean, one of the things in working with some women, in 50s, 60s and above, is there's a lot of successful women out there who have assets as well. And so I do think this becomes a consideration, not only for men, but also for a lot of women, this whole financial, how do you combine the financial assets? And of course, I'm a big believer in marriage. I always wanted to be married, and I've been married to my husband now for 16 years. There's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily even want marriage, but they want some kind of like formal, at least verbally said, kind of we're in an exclusive relationship or commitment. Although I think there's a lot of benefits from being married. To me, it is more than just a piece of paper. To me, it's like all those things you said. It represents, we're together in the eyes of the world. For me, it feels like a recognition and a respect for who I am and for the relationship that we're both committed to. For me, it feels much deeper than a piece of paper. But everyone has their own different way of looking at that. But I think this whole idea of, you have to recognize...
Let me interrupt for just a second. The paper, when we're saying a piece of paper, it's a symbol. It's literally an address. It says, we are committed. Don't think about having a relationship with my spouse. We're together. Don't violate our commitment. It's something we're broadcasting out that we are not available to anybody on an emotional level. That's very, very powerful.
Right. Absolutely.
And if a woman really, really loves a man, it makes her more insecure because she sees how desirable he is to other women. It's whether he is or not, just the fact that she thinks this is the most amazing guy. And when you get guys who are in love with a woman, they tend to be, some of these men are obsessively jealous because they know every man wants her and I've got her, so to speak. These are, the makings of romantic novels and everything like that. But, you always see in these novels that women read, the jealous man. But the attraction to that, until you realize how bad it is if he's jealous, it means he really wants you so much. It's desire. But at the same time, controlling someone that way is not a good thing. We need to be upfront about our feelings well, that's a whole other topic, which is we could do that, dealing with people's jealousy. But it's a big topic. Ultimately, jealousy, if I just say it, jealousy is thinking somebody's getting something that you want and you're afraid you can't have. So you have to look up and rather than just judge how bad that person is, you have to look at what it is that's making me so upset about my jealousy. If you're looking at someone, you're doing something here, you're not spending time with me, you're spending time with her, or she's, the jealousy inside of us comes up and we tend to immediately blame someone and control them and say, you can't do that. And that just pushes them further away and makes me unhappy if I'm pushing someone away. So we have to realize jealousy is a feeling that comes up inside of us that covers over a vast amount of other feelings. Another phrase is, our mind is like a house with many rooms in it, but we're only aware of one room. I'm jealous of you, but there's other rooms too. And jealousy will get stuck in that until you go below that. You realize the only reason I'm jealous is that person is getting what I want. And what's wrong with that? It's only I'm afraid I can't have that and I'm not getting that and I'm afraid I'll never get that. So that's what you go to your partner to say to help overcome jealousy is, when you're doing that, I start to feel insecure, like I'll never get that or I don't get that. And I just need reassurance I can get that. And this is what it would look like for me. I have a million different solutions to it. But sometimes people get obsessively upset about, your partner wanting to talk to an ex-partner or a man looking at another woman or a woman looking at another man or another woman praising another man. Various types of jealousies that can just destroy relationships unless we take responsibility for the vulnerability that's behind the jealousy. Because jealousy is often you're wrong and you need to change, as opposed to when you do that, it embarrasses me. I'm afraid what I really want, and I'm afraid I'm not going to get it or I'm not getting it. So let's create a situation where I can get what I need and talk about what works for you, what works for me, be reasonable about it. Because this comes up in relationships a lot, which is where men are attracted to women. Okay. And that's why we want to marry you. Okay. We're attracted to women. And when a woman feels beautiful and feeling good about herself, you look at it like, oh, well, that's beautiful. Like a woman would look at a flower, look at this beautiful flower, this beautiful statue, I remember being in the Louvre with Bonnie and my wife, and we were looking at the Venus statue, one of these beautiful statues, and Bonnie reaches up and touches it. And I go, yeah, she can do that, but I can't.
Keep your hands off Venus.
Keep your hands off Venus. Okay, so that's. But so our thing is that we were being in Hawaii, and a woman walks by in a string bikini. All the men look. I look for a brief period of time. If I look for too long, my wife elbows me, and we chuckle. Okay, and then I put my attention back on her. To understand
like, get on the blinder.
My joke about this is you'll see all the men glancing over or looking. It's like, if a big man comes in, if Arnold Schwarzenegger comes in a bathing suit with his muscles gleaming because he just worked out, everybody's going to look, just like that's unusual. That's amazing. So a man will look, his tendency, his primitive brain goes, oh, and there is a part of the primitive brain inside of a man that says, oh, if a woman's undressing in front of me, she wants to have sex with me. And if she wants to have sex with me, that means I'm an alpha man. I'll go with that woman any day. So this is all pre-wired inside. So what we do as human beings is we don't indulge in our lower self, but we don't judge ourselves for becoming aware of it and then consciously shifting. There's the big discussion is where, and this also kind of plays into our theme of how to get a man to marry or get him to propose if you have a good relationship, maybe a little extra push in there, is another resistance a man has, which is they can have, and what keeps men from getting married, some men, is we're designed, there's this whole thing out there in the world, like men are designed to have many women. Okay, historically, men have had many women, and we have enough sperm to make babies every day. Women can only make one baby for 9 months. Okay, so we're designed to do it many times for many places. And the biology is such, which by the way, we know in different cultures there are many women, one man, but that's because there was a shortage of men. You see, cultures are smart. There's a war, the men all die. Who's going to take care of the women? So the guy who survived, the king, whatever, he's got lots of women. Okay, then it becomes a status symbol of how many women you have. But the women are like, great, he can take care of us, and they would all take care of each other. These are different cultures, different times. What we have now is the possibility of being in a monogamous, intimate relationship where love can grow to higher levels than ever before. It's the intimacy, to be able to find yourself in another person. That's an amazing experience. See, as a man, to connect with a woman, I can find my feminine tenderness by connecting with her while I still stay this very strong, confident, capable, non-vulnerable at all. Nobody can affect me. I mean, you can come shoot me the bird, you can criticize my talks. Okay. At the same time, I'm a very sweet, vulnerable person with my children, with my wife, with the people I care about. I'm in touch with my feelings and so forth. But I don't take things so personally. That's masculinity. Don't take it personally at all. And yet also be in personal relationship. I know how I got there. It wasn't always that way. It was by being in a relationship and respecting a woman. What that means is when a woman can be feminine and you respect that. So much of what's being taught today is, women, you need to respect the man, and everybody deserves respect. But it's women who need the respect the most. Respect is when you yield to someone else. When I'm honoring them, when I honor you and do something for you that maybe I don't want to do myself, but I'm happy to do for you. You go to the speed limit, you respect the speed limit, you respect the laws. Respect means you can't just do what you want, you do something for them. And that's respecting someone. And femininity is what we want to respect most. And what we want for masculinity, you appreciate, you value it. You say, oh, I have a need, and you satisfied it. See, it's not so much doing for him what he wants, although you want to give him what he wants, but the priority is giving him, recognizing what does he want? What he wants is for you to appreciate his actions for you. So it's always this reciprocal thing. It's not easy to first conceive of it, because certainly I want to be respected. People respect me all over the place. I love it. But why do they respect me? Because they value what I can do for them or have done for them. So that's the male side of us wants to be valued. The female side wants to be valued. And so much of the time women will feel, in our surveys and companies and everything, women feel they don't feel appreciated or valued.
Mm-hmm.
But if the reason they're not feeling appreciated, you can find reasons for it. But at the same time, we did a survey in the workplace of men. This was 100,000 people in the survey. And men and women's complaints about each other's and whatever. And for women, do you feel appreciated by men in the workplace? And 75% of women said they don't feel appreciated by men. Okay. And we asked men, do you appreciate women in the workplace? And 90-something% of men said, yes, I appreciate the women in the workplace. So it wasn't that men didn't appreciate women in the workplace. It was that men didn't know how to communicate appreciation to women in the workplace. They were appreciating women the way we appreciate each other as men, which is good job. Whereas a woman feels appreciated when you take time to hear her perspective, value her perspective, and include her. This inclusiveness people are wanting now more is respect me, honor me, let me be seen. And that means more than just good job. That means, what do you need? Are you being paid fairly? And that's respecting a person's needs, honoring her needs. And so she'll communicate, I don't feel appreciated. And men are going, what do you mean? So many women will say to their husbands, I don't feel appreciated. Change the language. Instead of going, I don't feel appreciated, I'm equal to you. I deserve respect. And what I need in respect is for you to do this for me, and for you to do this for me, and you to do this for me. That's what worked for me. And, I remember Aretha Franklin coming out with the song R-E-S-P-E-C-T. The women went, wow with that. See, it's like, men get plenty of respect, and we all need respect. But in relationships, and I see again and again, is what opens a man's heart is not when women are doing things for him, although that's nice. But the big thing is when what a man does for her, she values and appreciates. And it used to be so much easier for men and women to get along because women really needed men to provide money. And men provided money and women provided love. And it worked very beautifully when a man could provide the money. Now, a culture where men can't provide enough for their family, it makes men alcoholics and drug addicts and so forth. because they don't feel good about themselves. So he has to be able to provide. But when a man can provide, then a woman can appreciate. And then what you have is the makings of a great relationship.
Yeah, and if he's not providing financially, if she's not depending upon him financially, then one of the key ideas that you're bringing up is there are other ways that he can show up for her, that he can provide valuable contributions to her in her life.
And Michelle, thank you so much for pointing that out, because that's the whole essence of my book, Beyond Mars and Venus, is if you don't need a man for the money, what do you need him for? To become aware, I don't like being lonely. I don't like being at home. I don't like eating out all the time. I don't like cooking for myself. I want to cook for somebody else if you like cooking. You know, my wife says, and she likes to cook, right? But if I don't eat it, she goes, well, I just won't cook for myself. It's fun. It's nurturing. Women have a nurturing side of them. They want that in their life. Is it, you know, this is going to enrich my life, and I want that. I need that. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to that. That's important to me. But to me, that's not enough. Where a woman really needs to find an awareness, if she wants to have a good relationship, is the awareness that I need a partner who can empathize with what I'm going through. I need a partner who I can share what's inside of me and feel understood. And I need a partner who is there for me on an emotional level. And that's why so many women will go with other women today. One of the reasons, okay, is that men don't know how to hear a woman. And I'll just say the benefit of if you're a woman who wants to go and share with other women, they all will sort of relate to each other. You get that safety to express yourself, but you're missing something. You're connecting with other women. You're now connecting to half the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're still disconnected from the other half of the world. The experience of having a man's world, respect you and value you. You're no longer just connected to half the world. You're connected to the whole world. And you're also connected to your whole self, which is your own masculine and feminine side starts to come up in harmony together. So this is the beautiful thing about having a man. When a man can really understand where you're coming from and hear you and validate you, it feels so, so good. Now, that all sounds great. I just know how difficult it is. I just have to say this, Michelle, which is so many women who are confident and capable. And as a woman ages, she becomes more confident and capable and self-assured, and I can handle everything. She's more on her male side. And how does the male side process stress? It processes the challenges of life. Well, there's nothing I can do about it. Well, that's the life. There's no problem. Well, I can't do anything about that. Well, I'll solve that problem. Well, I can do this and I can do that. That's how you solve problems or feel good on your male side. So what you find is women will tend to have this experience of life of being overwhelmed. I have so many things I have to do. I have to do. I have to do. Men have much less of that. 30 years ago, they had none of that. When men were men, they work hard and then they forget the day. They go home, forgotten, done. We have breaks. You see, our male side says, okay, I've run out of fuel. I need to rebuild my fuel, my hobby, my relaxation. I've got my me time. I'm going to do it. Then I've got my wife and my children. It was so mapped out easily for them. But when women are on their male side and not on their female side, meaning your work is not nurturing, you're working for money, you're setting goals, you're achieving goals that you basically feel I have to sacrifice to do that. I'm doing what I don't like to do. I do like what I don't want to do. Whenever you're on that side of you and you feel like I have to solve this and do this and it's too much, that's your male side. Your female side comes back. How to come back to your female side? There's a concept in the ancient days called rhythm, which is everything that goes left will go right. It's just go this way, it will come back. And this is a natural coming back. So if you go way over to your male side, then to find balance, you just can't come back to here, center. You can't go from way over here out of balance to centered. If you're way out of balance this way, you're going to tend to go way out of balance that way, over to your female side. And when you go way over to your female side, it's embarrassing. Way on your male side, female side has very little logic to it. That's where you feel, I need you to reassure me. Do you love me? Do you care about me? Am I important to you? And the guy, well, of course I am. Why would I marry you? He doesn't really understand the need that women have for reassurance that they're loved, that they're special, that they're significant, that they're important, even though, over here on their male side, oh, I make money, I achieve goals, and whatever, that makes me feel special. But what if I just who I am? This is very important. The female side is, do you see me? Do you hear me? But she doesn't even see herself. That's why therapy has become such a big thing for women, as we therapists will help women to understand, well, what's frustrating you? What are you afraid of? Why are you feeling anxiety? Why is it you're not sleeping? What's going on inside of you? What's going on inside of you is a host of emotions like anger and sadness and disappointment and frustration and guilt and shame and insecurity. And I'm getting older. I'm not as pretty and nobody wants me. And will I ever find love? So all these insecurities are inside of there. That's estrogen. All that is estrogen, her female energy, which is being suppressed during the day. It's pushing down. But when that pendulum swings back, then suddenly it starts to come up, and then she pushes it down, or she rationalizes that as judging her partner. Well, you're not doing this for me. You're not doing this for me. All of my negative emotions is about my partner. This is all basically Freudian ideas. It's very important to understand is that if you have stress building up during the day, when you come home, it gets unloaded on the person you feel safest with, and that's your partner. It doesn't say, hey, these are my feelings about work today. No, it's like, you didn't pick up after yourself, or you forgot to call me, or you didn't do this. Couples get upset about the littlest things because they're not dealing with the stresses of their day or the stresses of their past, which are creeping up on them, or your partner does something like an ex, the slightest little thing, and you kind of have the reaction that you didn't fully heal from the past. So relationships are challenging. The more older we get, the wiser we get. We just have to use these skills. And the way it then looks is everything I say has to have a practical aspect of it. It's Venus talk. I want women to know that just having the romantic side of it is not going to get him to marry you. It's when he can feel that he really helps you. He really helps you. And if you open your heart to him and say, it's just so good to be able to talk to somebody at the end of the day where I can just say, I was giving this whole presentation afterwards. I just feel terrible. I'm afraid I didn't do the right thing. I could have done it better. And then he'll say, oh, no, you do a good job. You said, no, you don't have to fix anything. Just hear me. Just hear me. It feels so good to just be able to unload and come back to my feelings of insecurity. And see, as opposed to I'm so confident, and I'm so secure. The female side of us has so much more fear than the male side of us. The male side of us is so much lazier. Remember I talked about that. The female side is insecurity. And to reveal that, it's kind of like, I just need you to hold me and hug me and tell me that you love me and say those things. And another thing that when couples have better communication, they can do this, what I'm about to recommend, is here you are, you're in a romantic relationship, most of you are having sex at that point. Then when you're having sex, to be able to talk during sex and to say at another time, and sometimes you have to do it another time, you can do it right then, but it's good because people aren't prepared for this. Men aren't prepared for this. To be able to say things like, do you love me? Will you tell me you love me? Am I important to you? Why do you love me? Every love story is like, do you love me? It's like, oh, let me count the ways I love you. This is pretty much what men can learn to do. And you can just say, just tell me, then you love working hard and supporting me. Tell me you love me always, even though it seems corny. For some people, that would be corny. And making love, I'm going to just say, do you love me? And just say, yes, I love you. And I always love you. And if we just get logical, I can't say I'll always love you. I don't know what the future is going to be. Nobody can really say that logically. But emotionally, it stimulates my estrogen hormones and feels really good. And so, will you always love me? Do you love me? Are you sure you love me? This is very sweet asking for reassurance. And that was something I didn't get in the first 10 years of my marriage to Bonnie. I finally got it. That women need, as much as I want to, if I've got some stocks on the stock market, I look every day. How's it doing? I'm looking for reassurance that my money's okay, right?
Right.
If every author is looking on Amazon to see what number you are, how my book's doing. You want to see what's my success. This is male logic. If you're your business. I've got to look at my bank accounts. I got to know it. And I look every day. I say, oh, doing good. That's to the male getting that reassurance. Women need a personal reassurance. And that's what the roses are about. That's what the stroking the hair is about. That's what the compliments are about. That's what noticing is about. That's having difficult conversations. And this is an important thing that breaks couples up, is that women will bring up issues where they want something, he doesn't understand why, or it's not going to work for him, and she's trying to get more or something like that. And you have a difficult conversation. They come up. And if you can say this magic word, women, this is another thing that helps men make a commitment to marry you, is he's getting the reassurance that he can provide what you need to be happy. So here you're having this difficult conversation. And if you can, remember these words I'm about to say. Just say to him, I know this is really difficult for you, but this really is helping me. I know it's difficult, but I will get to the other side, and it helps me so much. See, then suddenly he goes, oh, this isn't just a nuisance. This is just, having to lift a heavy log to carry it over there to do something with it. See, it's like men need to feel that the effort, energy they put in has some purpose, has a meaning. And so I just cherished the moments one time that just changed our whole marriage when, we were a bit of an argument, whatever. And I just said, look, I'll think about it. Let's not talk. That was a rule we set up because we don't escalate. Couples escalate in arguments. So you have to have your exit phrases, safe phrases. And mine is, all right, I'm going to think about this. But I didn't do it so well that time. Okay. It was like, all right, I'll think about this, and walked out of the room. Kind of like, I'm done with this, and rushed and walked away. And when I softened and came back, which men will do, that's why this class, the understanding men, the problem that solves all problems is men going to their cave, making sure men go to their cave. And the many reasons it works, it doesn't work, how women sabotage it, all those things. I learned things even as we were writing the course together. But when I came back from being in the cave, I just came in the kitchen, and our safe thing then is when I'm out of the cave, I just come around, offer to help, or stroke her hair a little bit, and maybe she's warming up or she's not. You have to gently come back after somewhat of an argument. And and she said to me this thing. She said, John, thank you so much for protecting me from your dragon.
Wow.
It was so powerful, because suddenly the thing that most men feel guilty about is walking away. And women then cry and feel hurt, so we clearly have a lot of shame around walking away, but we do it to protect you. It's called fight or flight. You want to fight. It's not a good idea. So flight is a better option. So he's in fight or flight. He flights, he calms down, cools off, does what he needs to do to feel better. He opens his heart again, comes back. And so I come back and make my little connection to say, okay, I'm safe. John is here. The angry guy is not there. And she says, thank you so much for taking your time and protecting me from your dragon.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful.
It's just a beautiful thing. And it's what I'm hearing a lot today. And we're trying to teach young men about their masculinity and how it's been negative masculinity, toxic masculinity, and all this stuff. And this whole sort of negativity about masculinity. Then we've got a lot of male leaders online sort of pumping men up, and talking about the importance of like competitive sport. That's something right now that has come up, which is danger on the football field. We shouldn't have so much danger. Actually, we need competition. Males need that competition. There's different degrees of aggression in men. Okay, it all has to do with basically the size of your shoulders, how much muscle mass you have. You have your primitive brain is violent. Okay, we have a whole history of violence and masculinity. We use violence to protect the women from other violent people. Okay, so there was ongoing, and now we sort of evolved into a higher mind, but we still have a violent part of us to various degrees. And the whole point is we need to take that. We don't want to repress that violence. We want to transform it into ambition and drive for success and to winning and doing your best instead of being lazy and placated out. Well, that violence is a powerful force that basically propels you into action. Okay. Now, most violence would be if he found if I was to experience a violent part of me, I wouldn't act on it in the way of hurting to hurt somebody, but I can certainly feel like I want to hurt them. But then I go, but I'm not going to hurt you. I'm going to figure out a more advanced, civilized way of dealing with those emotions and that feeling. And some men just have more of that than others based upon their body type. And we don't want to shame that. What we want to do is bring it out in a constructive way. I did karate as a kid. My brothers did boxing, and they're bigger than me, so I stopped boxing. I get my head knocked down. So boxing with gloves, that was a thing. And why do so many people go to fights? Why do people go to football? It's a catharsis of everybody gets to experience that primitive part of them without the intention to hurt somebody, but to win. And in the process of, I want to beat the other side, but I do it by cooperating with my team. I want to support my team. So it's training the male violent part to cooperate, which is the female side of us. The female side is cooperation and harmony and the connection, but that's just not reality. Reality is you need both those forces. That if I just want to move my hand like this, it's shaky. It's not going to be as solid as if I put my other hand against it. Now I have a very smooth movement across opposing forces. The whole universe is a balance of opposing forces, love and hate, love and aggression, and cooperation. Okay, so you bring those two things together, and you have assertiveness, you have transformation, you have growth, you have motivation, you have resolution, but you've got to have all these opposite forces coming together in harmony, not suppression of them, but transforming them. So a male on a football team, the guys on the field, they're cooperating with each other. They're also going to die younger. Okay, that's a choice they made. They're going to get dementia at a certain point earlier than a guy like me, simply because they're getting knocked around. That's a choice they make, and they get paid big bucks for it. And there's reason, logic to that. Okay, most of these people come from poor families and whatever. Their dream is to make a lot of money, and I'm willing to give up my life, a part of my life for that. Why not? We give up our lives every day to go into the military. See, men have done this forever. We need to honor and respect it. For example, what women don't see about men is that men, they just take it for granted. We do the dirty, dangerous, difficult things without complaining. As soon as you get women out there doing the dirty, difficult, dangerous things, you got all these complaints because it's not what they like to do. It's not what they want to do. Men can do things they don't like to do or don't want to do it, but for a noble cause, I will do it. And if I have to go out there and get my head knocked around so I can support my children, I'm willing to do that. That's noble. And to take that away from men, and at the same time, we have our female wisdom that says, can we create this football field? More safety factors in it. That's a good thing. But we don't want to shame it and make, it's violent. You want to take violence and you want to put it in a constructive way rather than repress it. The same thing has to do, and I alluded to this a little bit before, is another objection men have to marriage is they feel like I'm giving up my freedom. Mm-hmm. And when you have a partner that you're in love with, and there's a certain level of maturity before a man learns this on his own, but a shortcut is to hear another man talking about it. Look at your life, men. Those guys are out there, one woman after another woman after another. And if you can't get a woman, you're online and you're doing, it's emptiness. Every time you have sex with somebody who doesn't love you, or you long to have sex with someone who doesn't love you, you're feeling rejected. Mm-hmm. You're constantly saying, I'm rejected, I'm rejected, I'm rejected. You don't realize how this is ripping your self-esteem apart. To find somebody that you've earned their love, you have their love, you did it, you provided it, you got it. That love only grows over time. And biologically, this is true because when you have sex, this is for men, when they have sex with a woman they love and a woman who loves him. So this is a married couple. When they measure sex between a married couple, when the man has sex, he produces different hormones. The hormones he produces that he doesn't produce in masturbation, he doesn't produce it in sex, one-night stands, non-personal relationships. And those relationships, he doesn't produce prolactin. Prolactin is the monogamy hormone. Prolactin inhibits his desire to have sex with other women. So this is nature. You find a woman who loves you, now your body can produce prolactin that frees you from your lustful emptiness. Okay, there's like, I remember one of the great philosophers who didn't have a great marriage, but Alan Watts, great philosopher, did not have a great marriage or sex life. He's brilliant in the end, not so much in the body, my opinion, because his statement was, finally, I'm 75 years old. The dragon is dead. And the dragon was his sex drive, this thing that controlled him, that was always based upon lack of fulfillment, looking for it here, the dragon, the hungry ghosts, the Buddhists will call it, the hungry ghosts. They're just always hungry and not satisfied. But then you have a partner that you have sex with your whole life, and it's based upon growing in love, intimacy. Sexual intimacy is the opportunity to be in your body more fully than any other time and feel the love and give love to your partner. So it's literally, why do you go out and have McDonald's when you got the best ribeye steak at home? Okay, that's the idea. And when I discovered that, it was the recognition that, I'm trying to remember, there's various times when I remember this. There's this place of peace that comes in you where you realize the beast was dead of looking for somebody else because I have it in my life. And there's just something so satisfying to know that it's always there for you. But how can you continue to feel sexual when it's always there for you? That's the reason people today lose attraction to each other, is they don't have sex in a proper way. So let me give you another little bit of science here. If you have sex with someone in a monogamous relationship, you produce prolactin, which causes you to desire less other women, and you're more satisfied in this relationship. But if you have too much sex with that person, then you lose interest in sex. But this is another research study that was done, that when men have sex with their partner on Saturday night and then have sex with their partner, what happens, their testosterone levels go up and they come down to baseline. And then you have sex on Tuesday, your testosterone levels are at baseline and they go up and they go down. And then you have sex on Saturday night, they're at baseline, they go up and they go down. But if you have sex on Saturday night and you don't have sex for 6 days, on the 7th day, your baseline has gone up 50%. So now you're engaged that day. You wake up that morning with 50% more testosterone because you didn't have ejaculation twice that week. So this is, too much of a good thing isn't a good thing. Occasionally it's fine, okay? And, I'm not trying to be some puritanical rules. You look in the Jewish religion, they will have they don't have sex except around ovulation. Okay? Mm-hmm. 10 days where the man and woman don't touch or whatever, and then that's naturally, according to your bodily rhythms, or estrogen levels, they start to double about 4 days, 5 days after a period. So, or 10 days after the beginning of her period. That's when her estrogen levels are starting to double. That's when her estrogen levels are starting to rise higher, where she can fully enjoy sex. So that's their understanding of it. So men are celibate for at least 10 days a month. And so that's one approach to it. Another approach is have it 4 times a week, but have 6 days in between. Give yourself a rest. Like, think about this. If you eat all the time, food's good, but it's not as delicious. If you fast for a day, then it's like in heaven, So my partner's out of town right now, and I'm great with that because I know distance makes the heart grow stronger. It makes the penis get harder. And it's as long as you don't masturbate, you don't release the energy. And so many couples don't understand this. If a man's not getting it with his wife, he'll go masturbate. Then the energy that she needs from him, that desire energy to awaken her sexuality, gets dampened. So we don't have healthy sex skills to keep the sex going. So when I'm talking about monogamy, I'm talking about a lifetime where sex can grow and love glows, all gets better and better, as opposed to the couple who doesn't know how to have sex, has too much or not enough or does it the wrong way. What happens is sex doesn't become so fulfilling, and therefore your body you don't grow in love through sex. Your prolactin isn't produced, and now you're feeling, I wish I had that, I wish I had that, the man is starting to lust for other women, the woman is either lusting for other men or she's not interested in sex at all. And then you get to 60 or 70 for these men with they sort of run the course with their testosterone. You'll see so many pills and everything is about testosterone for men because they lose interest in their 50s and 60s and 70s. It just doesn't come up. It doesn't get hard. It doesn't last. What to do? Start practicing space in between. It'll start increasing your testosterone. You come back to being like a young man. I'm 71 years old and my testosterone levels are like mine when they were a young man and even more. I measured them. They're 50% higher. Because I talked about this with you before, Michelle. It's hard to talk about things that people can do right away, but there's a thing where there's lots of books teaching men how to have orgasms without ejaculating. If you can have orgasm without ejaculating, that means you can have lots of sex and your testosterone levels stay at a higher level. And when the testosterone stays at a higher level, it means that a man is less moody, less pouting, less irritable. He's more motivated. He has more energy. He's more romantic. He's more attentive. All those good qualities he had in the beginning, which were automatic for him, has a lot to do with the newness of high dopamine raising his testosterone automatically. But the newness will go away. The testosterone levels don't get that free ride. So we have to do other things, which is the one I just mentioned, which is some abstinence in between, but always in between. You can't stop having sex. For couples that have stopped having sex, they need to start having sex and let it just be the worst sex you ever had, but be very gentle with each other, and you've got to start trying. And it needs to be, ideally, if the woman doesn't fully open up and feel levels of orgasm, then the man shouldn't ejaculate. He should practice, let me just get aroused and excited and abstain, because that will build his energy up. Because his body will keep saying, I need to have that release. I need to have that release. And if he gets too excited, he'll get blue balls without that release. But if he just moderates it, tones it down, now we're going to start and we're going to be a little sexual. Kind of like when you were teenagers, you just kissed. I mean, it was so great. And that we go, we want the whole big thing now. That's because we're addicted to high intensity. So you have to use willpower and be romantic, be affectionate, say loving things to each other, hold each other. These are things that gradually will awaken up that energy again and again until now you're having sex, and then you don't want to have too much. You want to create space in between. And, if you don't learn as men how to have orgasm without ejaculation, then what will happen is as you get older, you need more than 6 days. One woman said, it's just like, my husband, it's like 10 days before anything comes back. So I want to make sure we do it the right way. We get one chance. So this is a man's refractory period increases before he's interested in sex again, based upon how much estrogen he has in his body. So this is where your retired man does what he likes to do. He's going to have more estrogen. He has to balance that if he wants good testosterone, which is finding something he likes to do, but he has to work hard to do it. Okay, see, there has to be that working hard aspect of it and some sacrifice, doing things you don't like to do, but have a noble goal. For example, just saying in sex, you'd rather just have an orgasm every time for a man and ejaculate. Try getting aroused and holding it, stopping it, and just don't ejaculate. Let that be a sacrifice you make for your partner, or do things for her. And I'm coming back to, once again, just to make this all more practical, it looks like your wife's not in a good mood. Don't take it personally. Instead, say, what's the matter? And then when she talks, help me understand that better. Well, what else? And all you have to do is say, well, what else? And pause. More will come. You think, what else can come? It surprises you. I with my daughters, okay, they always say dad gets off the phone right away. And so, because I think there's nothing worse saying. So right. Just staying on the phone. And what happened is more comes out of it. Then I just have to say, tell me about that. And what else? And then just pause for a little while. And then they'll say more, or you might say a little something. But men sort of think you've gotten to the period it's done, as opposed to create a space for more to come out. And women seem to have so much more. It just keeps coming out. So many things they can talk about with you. And what men don't know is when they can talk about with you, you're doing something wonderful for them. It stimulates the female hormones going up. And when a man or a father does it for his daughter, or a man does it for his wife, a guy on a date does it for a woman, it's very different energetically than if they were doing with a woman. They're already one with each other. But to connect with that which is different, and for me, when they can feel safer and open up, I'm now expanding to the part of me that's feminine, but at the same time, I'm listening. That's masculine. Masculine is listening. Most people don't realize that. When you're listening, I'm hearing you speak. I'm penetrating in. And so, like right now, I'm very much in my female side because I'm sharing what's inside of me. But if you notice, I tell stories, which is sharing me, and then I make a point, a logical point, solving a problem. So I'm problem solving my male side, and then I'm also sharing. That's bringing the male and female together. Doing hard work, but also enjoying it, is the blending of masculine and feminine. Going on a romantic date for a man is he's not doing necessarily what he wants to do tonight. The main thing he wants to do is to provide something for her to be happy. And what she's doing on that romantic date is not something to make him happy, but something that he can do for her to make her happy. And then from a meta's point of view, stepping back, by enjoying the date with him, you're giving him a great gift, because women do want to reciprocate. But I want women to know that when you enjoy what a man does for you, you have reciprocated. You don't have to do more. A lot of women don't want to feel obligated. They're going on a date. Everybody wants sex right away. Whatever. You don't feel obligated. You give him a great gift. It's like, you think she had a dinner? Does that mean he has to have sex with you? It's absurd. But women will often feel like, well, I want to split the meal, so I don't feel any obligation. No, let him pay for the meal. Do anything possible to get him to pay for the meal. Get him to go to the bathroom so he can pay for it. And says, look at that bill. Don't touch the bill. And if he doesn't touch it, then finally, you just be with it, ignore it, and then finally say, well, shall we split the bill? And that's fine to do. But the ideal is keep creating the opportunity, but don't pay the bill. Well, let me pay this for you. It's just you're on your male side if you're providing. You're on your female side when you're responding with appreciation, with acceptance, and with trust. Those are your key things. And anytime you want to throw in a little admiration, that's really good. See, these are subtleties of love. When I said the word admiration, easily that could, when a man says, I want respect, what he's really saying, I want to be admired. When he's saying, I want to be respected, I want to feel valued. And when men don't feel valued and they don't feel admired, what you hear from them is, I want to be respected. I'm a tyrant. See, all tyrants are demanding respect. You bow down to me. I want respect. Kiss my ring. Mm-hmm. This is, I'm above you. Why do they do that? This is the simple psychological phenomena of basically such low self-esteem that I need you to pump me up. And that's the kind of reassurance that is when a weak man is looking for that. So and certainly we should all respect each other. But at the same time, women need it more. And then they will appreciate men more. And what men need most is to be valued and appreciated. When a performer on stage, everybody claps for them, they bow. See, I bow to you, you appreciate me, I will bow to you. And this is for an intimate relationship. Historically, if you look at class systems and someone's working for you, people were told, don't say thank you, don't appreciate them, because they will now get lazy. They will get lazy. But with a man and a woman, if you appreciate the things he does for you, he won't get lazy. But if you show your appreciation by doing more for him rather than actually expressing appreciation, which is, oh, so nice that you're here. Oh, I'm delighted by that. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh, honey, tonight, would you just make dinner? I want to just relax. I'm worn out. He says, sure, I'll do that. Or he said, oh, okay, I'll do that. He's just grumbling. Don't worry about it. And you're training him that when he does that, you're going to appreciate what he does. He'll need to complain or grumble less. So we've just done a big course on how to get a man to marry you, provide the emotional support that he needs, ask for what you want, persist, and gentle persistence. They'll give up, but don't argue about it. And don't ever use the phrase, I feel hurt. Okay. Hurt will not work. And, you're such a great listener, Michelle, that I've gone way over times.
No, this was so fantastic, though, John. I'm so grateful for the extra time. And I think some of the things, you and I have had many conversations now over the years, and yet every conversation, there are so many gems that come forward. And this idea of going back to earlier in the interview where you were talking about sharing and asking for what you're wanting and needing. And I think women have to be connected with those needs, because we can sometimes suppress them to the point that it's hard to even connect. But being able to share what we want, and then also do it in a way where a man can hear us. We don't shut him down by making him feel like he's disappointing us or letting us down by saying, well, that makes sense. Well, yeah, that's right. That's right. And what I know is that I really feel that marriage is something that's really important to me. That just that bridge, and agreeing with him and seeing his point and recognizing that his feelings are valid too. I mean, that is like a life-changing technique, I think, for so many people. And there's always so many gems. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I love interviewing you so much, because I go back through and go, wow, that's a gem. That's a gem. And, people are so grateful when I share your interviews on my events and on my YouTube channel. I get so much positive feedback. People tell me they're brought to tears. People tell me they're listening to it over and over and over again, memorizing. Just in the last day, John, a couple of comments from previous interviews are exactly what I just said. One woman said, what John is sharing is moving me to tears. And one woman was saying, I've listened to this interview so many times that I've memorized it. And I'm just letting you know that, to let you know the appreciation that's not just coming from me, but from my audience, and the privilege of sharing your work out there and the difference it's making. And I know you get feedback all the time, but I just think it's really important to thank you for the contribution you're making to so many people's lives and relationships.
Wow. You made my day and made my week. Thank you so much, Michelle. So heartfelt. It just touches my heart. That's what you just demonstrated, is that what you're doing, valuing and appreciating a man, is everything a man needs the most. And thank you so much. And I think what I provided, just as we talked about, you appreciated me because I provided understanding, wisdom and understanding. If men can get listening, is not just hearing what she's saying, taking time to understand what's going on inside of her. And such a gift that we can have for men and women. I mean, for you to value, and you say these women value what I say, it just means so much to me. And yes, the truth is, I still have a counseling practice every day. I go into my counseling practice, I leave on top of the world. There's nothing better for a man than to feel that you can make the world a better place by your actions or your competence and your skills. But you do it so beautifully, Michelle, and you've touched so many people and helped provided me to go to so many people. I'm also so grateful to you. So I thank you.
Thank you, John. And I want to just remind everyone to, in addition to checking out John's books, this book is so incredible. I was telling John before we started our interview, this book is, an extension of John's book of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and going in even deeper with some of the work. And if you haven't picked it up, I highly recommend it. And then, John, I want to encourage everybody to go to your website, marsvenus.com, and be sure to check out the Understanding Men course, because in all the work that I've done, I've been doing this work for well over a decade, and I've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of men, although I love interviewing John the most. One of the questions that people are always asking me is, why is a man doing this? Why is a man doing that? What's he thinking? What's going on in his mind? What's going on in his heart? And John's work goes so deep with that. And I just think you could all benefit, if this is of interest to you, you could benefit so much by the Understanding Men course. So be sure to check that out too. And then, John, I just want to mention this for our audience. I also know you have a complementary relationship course. Right there on the front page. Yeah.
It's called How to Get Everything You Want. But don't expect to get it right away. It's telling you over time how to get everything you want in your relationships. It's very basic and very good. But we spent a year and a half working on understanding men, and it's just so thorough. It was because Lauren is a woman, right? She's been married 10 years. She's got a partner. She's taken all my ideas, applied it to her relationship, and taken it to another level. She knows all of women's questions about men, and so we answer them all in this class. So it's very, very, very helpful. And she, like me, is very practical. And the thing about doing a workshop, online workshop, is we wrote quizzes. We have processes, exercises that you do, and we do them for you, and then you do it yourself. So a lot to it. And then we have frequently asked questions, like 50 different additional information besides what's in the videos. It's very nicely produced. Of course, I highly recommend it.